Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Yo, what's up, Bears Nation? Welcome back to another red hot, full throttle episode of Bears on Tracks, brought to you by Chicago Sports Podcast. 5 for Chicago. I'm your host with the most, Brandon Trax Hyatt, and tonight, let me tell you something. We've got pure fire on the docket. Tyson Bagent just cracked open the Bears coaching playbook, folks. He gave us the real deal Holyfield behind the scenes look at Caleb Williams. And oh yeah, the Bears just made it clear they're planting their flag in Arlington Heights. But I'm not riding solo tonight, folks. Joining me is the man, the myth, the muscle behind the mic, my co-host, Buck Nessie.
What's up, Brandon?
Buck, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome.
Awesome. And to my right is my assistant, my son, checking us out, Gamer Kid. What's up, Gamer Kid?
Hi.
And Joey. Hey, what's up, bud?
Bear down.
Bear down. All right. So, like I said, Buck, you ready for this, man? You ready to tear into this, buddy?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. So, here we go. We're going to talk about Bagent speaking. So, Buck, let's hit the ground running already, okay? Tyson Bagent talked to ESPN's David Kaplan, and a friend of our show. He's been on a few times. He dropped this gem about the new Bears coaching staff. He said, and I quote, "The way they are teaching us what we are responsible for on every play, I think has been the biggest difference. He puts a lot of focus on what is our job on the play and how perfect can we do that job each and every play." That's to me, that's next level leadership, man. That's next level leadership talk. This ain't fluff. That's a soldier in the trenches talking real football. So, as far as analysis go, this is the Dennis Allen effect in real time, guys. Focused execution, personal accountability, assignment sound. That's how you flip a 5-12 record into a playoff run. So, Buck, man, how do you react to this kind of mindset shift, man? Have you ever heard a Bears QB talk this way about the coaching staff? This ain't rah-rah. This is tactical football, Buck.
Yeah, and they're talking, attention to detail, getting back to the basics. I like it. I like the sound of it. But we have this is different. This is on a different level than we've ever experienced before. I'll give you that. But we have all heard before, everybody praising the new guy and so on. And really, coaching staff wise, I love these guys. I know you're high on them, and we should be, because they've done good things, and we can see that they got it in motion, right? It's looking good. But hey, and we got to keep our feet on the ground at the same time. We don't want to be jumping up and down, because if you remember this time last year, everybody was talking about how good Waldron's going to be and how he fixed Geno and all that stuff. And, prior to him, it was somebody else. And, us fans, the Chicago media, media abroad will always find a way to, put a good spin on it. And so I'm not saying that, you know, this ain't a good thing. I really believe it is. I think it's going to be great, but I still got my feet on the ground, Brandon. You know what I'm saying? And you got that from me over the years, and you don't really like it when I try to ground you up a little bit, but it's true too.
Well, I tell you what, I had my head in the clouds for a long time, and you burst my bubble so much. But after a while, you get beat down by it, and it doesn't take much help. It just happens by attrition, just by watching, all this stuff. And now I finally understand where you're at with it. But what do you see? What do you see in
You've
the
been beat up enough, Brandon.
Hey, what do you see in the structure of this coaching philosophy that makes you believe in this staff, Ed? Is Bagent just saying the right thing, or is this something that
No,
fans should be fired up about, man?
No, I don't think Bajan's bullshitting anybody. And I'll tell you what, I like that kid. I've liked him since the day we got him undrafted. Everything I've seen from him from year one when he filled in for Justin for them 4 games, I thought he played excellent games. It was kind of back to basics kind of thing, but he went 2-2 and looked good even in the losses. And he knew it was time to sit back down when the quarterback got healthy, and like now he knows what his place is. And sure, I'm sure that he would like to be a starting quarterback one day, and he may be. But the kid's he's always had his head on. I've liked him from the beginning. And yeah, he may be saying some of the right things, but I believe him in what he's saying. And he's telling us that like you spoke of, that he's being taught differently. And we see that things are being done a little differently, and we see the attitude. Johnson, love it, right?
Yeah,
Um, I'm excited. I am. I want to see it happen now. You know what I mean? I want to see. And of course, we're going to be talking about it and waiting still for quite a while now. We got some time. But I'm ready to see it happen. I hope it all comes together.
yeah, like a good soup. They start putting all the stuff in, and you start looking at the clock, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, is it ever going to come?" I mean, it starts to smell good in the other room, and you're all fired up. And then you ask the chef, and the chef comes back with the bad news. You still got
Hold the
you're
phone.
still
How
you're
big?
still
Let's see what you know about soup, Brandon. How big's your soup pot?
a big one. You got, hey, look at my belly. It's got to be really big. Okay, look at this head.
Mine's 7 gallons. How big is yours?
There you go. Well, I don't know what this. My point is, Ed, it's going to take another 2-3 months before this soup comes together, but we can already see
Absolutely.
some of the right ingredients that are in there. We know that a good soup has a foundation, and it has a couple things to really set it off. Like, listen, if you're getting ready to put chicken noodle soup together and you don't see no chicken and you don't see no noodles, you might want to start, looking at another, some different options, because chicken noodles might not be in your future, man, but I start to see some of these things, and we see them early. And I agree with you, man. We need to pause for the cause, but all they can do is what they have in front of them. And so far, I think they're doing a pretty good job, Ed. I think they're,
I
I think
do.
they're, I think they're doing a pretty good job. Now I tell you what, let's talk about Caleb for a while, man. I mean,
Oh, you didn't want to hear my soup analogy?
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
regards to yours,
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
please.
if You want my response to your soup analogy? I'll
Yeah.
go with it, okay?
Yeah.
And right now, what we're doing is we're adding the vegetables, we're adding the meat, uh, adding a little bouillon, a little bowl, whatever, and now in the near future, those things with the heat of the fire are going to start to mingle, right? We're not mingling yet. We're just adding in the ingredients right now.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. I like it when the stuff starts to mingle. And you was talking about the smell. Yeah, that's when you start getting the smell, when the stuff's mingling. We ain't there yet. Okay. But I like your old soup analogy. I like it.
I did that for you, Ed. I did that for you. All the way back from the beginning when I ended up spilling your big old 5-gallon container of pickles at the old work trailer. Remember that in the fridge?
No, it was only 1 gallon.
Well, hey, when it spills, it's 5 gallons. When it's in there, it's 1 gallon. Where does all that water come from? I spilled a cup of coffee in my Jeep, and I got those nice, rubber mats to keep it from. But I kid you not, it looked like I spilled a whole pot of coffee in there this morning when I was running around. I'm like, where did all this coffee come from? You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
So now, Buck, here's the deal. This is where it gets real juicy, man. Like the good odd juice. Bagent didn't stop there. He said, "This is about Caleb Williams." Okay, there's
Yes, we did.
there's an understanding that we're all there so 18 can be the best. He can be the best on the field, and I can already see jumps from year 1 to year 2. That's what Bagent is saying.
Yeah.
What?
And that he's there to support him.
Yeah, and this is coming from a guy who's competing with Caleb and in a healthy way. There's a healthy competition within ranks, okay? Don't get it twisted, folks. There's no drama going on. We all know
Right.
who's the guy. And he's
Right.
hyping him up like a franchise QB already, man. So here's the deal, man. Here's the deal, okay? That's leadership, not just from Caleb, but from Bagent. You can already see leadership from Bagent too. You can feel the culture shift. The locker room is buying in. No QB controversy, no drama, just good old football, man. And I tell you what, here's the deal, Buck. We haven't seen this in a long time. There's always been quarterback controversy, and the best one that's supposed to take the field isn't on the field yet. How come you don't have so and so in there? Bring him in. No, bench him. Oh, I told you. I don't think we got that anymore, Ed.
I don't think so either.
Buck, you played football. You've coached. How rare is it to see a young backup QB publicly elevate the starter like that? Does this signal a special kind of leadership in the QB room, even from a developmental? Because we know Case Keenum isn't developmental. He's been in the league around for a very long time, in the teens, mind you. That guy is the mentor in the building, which I don't understand why they didn't even have that from Jump Street last year. But listen, that's this year. We got it now, and we got a guy in Bagent. Do you see that kind of leadership in the QB locker room, even with the guy that's coming up and that's learning?
Yeah, in Case Keenum, he knows his job too.
Yeah.
He knows what he's here for. They explained it to him, right? I mean, they're not leading anybody on. They all know their jobs and what they're there for, and it's a good thing. I'm with it.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I am too, man. I really feel like this is a special kind of thing that everybody's in it together, and it's different. It doesn't, you don't have to watch your back type thing. And when people aren't worried about watching their backs, they got your back, and that's what's important, man. Eyes forward. Don't worry about what's behind. I got your six all the time. Don't even put that in your mind. Focus on what's in front of you. Let's win together, right, Buck?
Absolutely.
So listen, man, does this mean Caleb's already stepping into that face of the franchise mode? Can you feel that? Can the Bears fan
He did
base
it.
can the Bears fan base finally exhale and say, we got our guy? Can you say that? Can we say that?
I think we should have said, and a lot of people said it last year. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the guy.
But I think
I
like
mean, we drafted him to be that guy. He drafted a quarterback #1 overall. That's what you're. That's what you're going for. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. That's what you want, and um, I think he had a great year last year overall. I think there were several games that our coaching staff blew that he did everything to put us in that game at the end of the game. Them close games that we lost that we should have won. There were at least three of them, and the only reason we had an opportunity to win them at the end of the game was because of our quarterback, and our coaches blew it.
no, I agree. And you know what? You're 100% right about everything. I mean, how could you be wrong? It makes so much sense. But here's my take on this, Ed. I feel like because the locker room, the QB room especially, is all together and grounded, and they're all working as a unit. That speaks volume because QBs, they take the lead in everything. And since we have this already there, you can already see and feel a difference. And I feel like that's where once you get the nod from the other QBs and they start coming out and saying stuff like this is just that reassurance that you said we already knew that QB1 Caleb was our guy. You know what I'm trying to say? So,
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, man. There's a good question in the chat that we want to address here really quick. Cliff Victoria said this. He goes, it will be interesting to see which QBs are on the 53 practice squad. Do Bears keep Keenum? Means that new guy from last year will go. I will go ahead, Ed. Go ahead and answer this one first for us, and then I'll follow your lead, brother.
I think they're going to hope to keep him on the practice squad. Don't we get like a third quarterback? They changed the rules recently. I don't know. I think it might have been something to do with COVID, and it still hung over. It might not be that way this year. Something we got to find out. But we were able to keep a third quarterback.
Yeah.
The past couple years, wasn't it? It was actually something to do with COVID.
Yeah, there's actually a variance for even more players that you can hide in the practice squad now more so than ever because of the COVID situation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's basically it. And here's the deal: to piggyback off of what you said, you got Caleb. Caleb's the number one guy, right? Then you've got your backup, and then you got your developmental guy. Now, I will say this. Bagent last year was number 2. And it'll be interesting.
Right now, they're still showing him at number 2, Brandon, even with Keenum here.
So they obviously
and that's a surprise to me because I thought Keenum would be and we don't know. It's not time yet for the final thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that Keenum would be basically the number 2 right up front, but so far, I believe they're still showing Bagent as the backup and Keenum as the third.
Yeah. So I tell you this much, it's still going to come down to it. Like you said, it's going to be a healthy competition there. Case is on the case regardless, and I like him, and I do think he will go ahead and get the lead there for the number 2 spot. But Bagent is not slouch, and I'll tell you this much. Listening to Jim Miller and Pat Kerwin. Now, Kerwin was I don't know if you know this or not, but Kerwin on Moving the Chains on the NFL Network, he was a multi GM for a couple different teams. So this guy knows the ins and outs about everything. And he said that Bagent jumped out at him, and he cannot believe that, this guy landed on a practice squad. He really felt like, for a guy that's undrafted, he felt like he should have and could have been drafted. He sees so many good things in him, and he wished that there was some more reps. Take it as it may. He got what he got. Maybe he'll get a little bit more, but they feel that at the end of his contract, he will land somewhere. And
he'll still be playing football, if nothing else, to be a backup somewhere, possibly still here, possibly somewhere else. If he doesn't get a starting job, and I don't think that's something that's going to come automatically at some other team at the end of his contract here. I think he's still got the potential of moving himself up in the league, but make no mistake, he's happy about being on a professional football team, being that he went undrafted, but he killed it in college. He was at not a junior college, but he was at
Division III.
Okay. But he killed it.
Division II. I'm sorry. Division II. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, but
he
killed it. He definitely killed it. And back to what Pat Kerwin and Jim Miller said, they actually feel like this kid potentially could be a starter. It's just a matter of getting that reps leading to retention, and the fact of where he's at right now. And this is what happens in football. It doesn't slight him or mean that he's not ready to take the next step as a backup and eventually start, but that there are a lot of intangibles that he has there. And that just says a lot about what the Bears are building. You know what I'm saying, Ed? That's good to know.
Yeah,
man.
They got lucky as hell with that one is what happened, Brandon. Yeah. They got lucky as hell.
Absolutely. So my son had a really good question, and we got to answer this one. I like it here. Not too many of the listeners get to pop their head in while they're getting their question asked. Question, Dad, what if there was a Super Bowl of the Bears with Mongo Steve McMichael versus the Green Bay Packers? Well, I could tell you what, that would be the NFC Championship, and the Bears would definitely win. No questions asked, for sure.
127 to zip. The Bears.
127 to zip is what I'm hearing from my co-host. Take that for what it's worth. So yeah, man. You know what? Let's shift gears really quick, because here's something I definitely wanted to, and this is kind of why I asked if you could come on tonight, short notice, because you've been around these parts longer than I have. You've been watching football longer than I have, and this is something that we may or may not have ever thought this would even happen in the glorious city of Chicago. And that's a stadium bombshell, man. So let's shift from the field to the future. And this is where things get explosive. The Bears just told the Chicago Tribune over the last few months, we have made significant progress with the leaders in Arlington Heights.
Yes.
So Kevin Warren said the shovel hits the ground in 2025. You hear that, Ed? It's not a maybe, it's a movement. The shovel hits the ground. So here's the deal. This is ownership drawing the line in the sand. No more City Hall games. No more Soldier Field politics. Arlington Heights or bust. Bears are building a football empire, man. So with that being said, Buck, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. Is this the move? Is this the right move? Tradition versus progression. Soldier Field is sacred ground, but it's also outdated. Are you with this Arlington push?
Brandon, I got a little different take on this whole situation than most people and what you've heard. One, to answer part of your question, just get that out of the way. I really, really don't like the idea of Chicago Bears leaving the city, but I understand why they are, and they're going to. I'm going to tell you right now that Arlington's been the place, whether they get it in the media and say one thing or the other, going back and forth. Arlington's been the place since they bought the 300 plus acres, dude. There's no, I mean, that's the place.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. Um, what the heck was the name of the guy Warren replaced? The bean counter that we had for many years. Didn't know
Phillips.
Jack.
Ted
Huh?
Phillips. Ted
Yeah,
Phillips.
Ted Phillips.
Yeah.
He retired, right?
I don't know
He,
what he's doing, and
no,
I mean,
he retired. He like stepped down, whatever. He went on to
oh
the.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
That's what was reported, and then he was replaced by Warren. I'm gonna tell you something. Uh, they got rid of Phillips. They got rid of Phillips because he dropped a ball on Arlington. He's the bean counter, right?
yeah,
That was his baby, right?
yeah,
Remember that he was not going to be messing with anything to do with football. Poles is there. Poles going to take care of it. Poles going to report directly to ownership, not even have to deal with Phillips because Phillips ain't dealing with football. Phillips dealing with the new stadium and Arlington, right? And that's when they still hadn't even purchased the property. And then
right.
they purchased the property. Well, the bean counter dropped a ball, bud, because that whole tax situation that should have been addressed during the purchase of the property. Okay. They purchased the property for an ungodly amount of money. I couldn't quote the numbers, but it was a whole lot more than what the property had ever been assessed at for Arlington and what they had paid taxes on. The Bears assumed, and this bean counter Phillips assumed that when they bought it, they looked at the previous year's taxes and they thought that's the kind of taxes they're going to pay. Well, dummy, when you buy it for 10 times that amount, they're going to charge you taxes on 10 times the amount because that's what it's worth now today because you just paid it, right? There should have been an agreement when it was purchased about the tax situation. So that blew that whole thing up.
Yeah.
The taxes they were trying to charge them on that property was unbelievable, but in line with what they paid for the property. That's why Phillips is gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we've seen this movie before, what they did to get back to Arlington, what they had to do, because Arlington wasn't going to budge on the taxes, dude. They wasn't going to budge. If you remember back when I call him Baby Daley, not the real Mayor Daley, but Baby Daley, Mayor Daley when he was still in Chicago, when the Bears wanted to rehab the stadium, and he said, "We're not flat out. We're not going to do any renovation to Soldier Field."
Yeah.
He was hard on it. What the Bears do? The Bears started looking for property to build a new stadium. That went on for several months. Just like when Arlington, we purchased the property, but we had this horrible tax situation that should have been addressed during the purchase. Phillips dropped the ball. Now we got to do this same movie over again. We got to go look at other places, including back in Chicago, and show Arlington that, yeah, we bought the property, but we don't have to build a stadium there. We could build a stadium anywhere and still own that property and do something different with it or what have you. So they showed Arlington that they're willing to do it elsewhere, including next to Soldier Field, where that was never going to happen, Brandon, because all of the logistics and the dealing with Chicago politics and Illinois politics, and it just too many bumps in the road. In addition to, I don't really think there was enough room there to do what they was wanting to do. They drew a plan up and everything, but man,
well, hold on. When you can't build out, you can build up, and that would be a really tall, whatever the heck they could stack together. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, to your point, logistically, it would be a nightmare, bro. It would
yeah,
be.
yeah, and they knew that. And as soon as they started leaning towards that direction, that all become more clear to them again. And at the same time, Arlington seen it slipping away from them. And now they're starting to talk. Now they're willing to work with the Bears now to make it happen in Arlington. They wanted it there the whole time. They they wanted it there before the property was even sold. That was all worked out. They already had to okay for that and everything. Now, so what I say, we've seen this movie before. I'm saying we've been going to Arlington ever since we bought the property. A mistake was made by Phillips that caused us to have to rerun a movie that we saw many years ago when Daly said no. It got down to the Bears. Bears talked to several other townships or towns or whatever in Illinois, and they announced that they were going to do it in one of two locations, and one was actually in Gary, Indiana. I'm not going to go into that. I know exactly where that was, and they never actually announced where it was, but I know, and I won't go into that. But when the Bears said that they were down to two locations, just trying to decide which one they were going to go with, Daly cracked, and he said, "Okay, I give. We'll do the renovations," and they did, and Chicago stayed. Same thing we just did. And Arlington's willing to talk turkey now. It was always going to be in Arlington, bud.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, and it makes sense. I do see why you do due diligence and keep your, feelers out there just in case somehow, something makes sense for both sides, to keep both sides honest and try to get the best deal, kind of like purchasing a vehicle or buying one or whatever. But because to this magnitude, I will never understand this. This is crazy, But let me ask you this, Ed. Does a new stadium finally put the Bears in the same league, in the same conversation as teams like the Cowboys, the Raiders, and the Rams? And how will fans handle leaving the lakefront?
Well, the fans are all going to have problems with it at first, but when they start going to Arlington, when this shit all gets done there, Brandon, it's going to be amazing, dude. That whole 300 plus acres, man, and they're going to develop the whole area. Not only is it going to be a stadium, it's going to be restaurants and probably a little shopping mall and couple of really nice hotels. It's going to be slick up there, dude. It's going to be really they're and that they can't do that in Chicago and probably any other place that they looked at. There's not nearly that much property. I mean, what they could do in Arlington, I'm not sure they could do anywhere else, but unless they bought a farmer out, and put it in a cornfield, in the middle of cornfield, and what good is that? But
Yep. No, I hear you. Now, I tell you what, I think we've pretty well handled this segment. I'd like to break this down with some, as far as the schedule breakdown and fan reaction to the schedule. So if you're asking why this is this coaching shift and this culture matters, look at the 2024 schedule. We started out 3-2, but ended 6-11. That's collapse city, Ed. But
yeah,
what if Caleb was just learning? What if this staff hadn't found its identity yet? What if 2025 is the year the switch flips like it did for Washington? So I'll tell you what, I need a rapid fire reaction, bud. So let's go through a few critical losses, okay? We had week 11 Packers 20-19 loss. We lost by 1.
blocked field goal.
Yes. Week 12 Vikings 30-27 overtime loss.
Yep.
Yep. And week 17 Seahawks 6-3 loss. 6-3, Ed. Come on.
Yeah.
Which loss told you we needed new coaching?
Not any of those. I was 100% sure we needed new coaching after the Washington game, the Hail Mary.
Yeah, that was rough.
That was before all of those. Then we had those. In addition to the Detroit game you didn't mention on Thanksgiving.
Well, I tell you what, Ed, I found some ones that were really close. Okay. I found some ones that were really close and I just put them together. That's all. But you make a valid point. Like Cliff Victoria says, the Hail Mary is awful. Listen to Doug Plank. Oh my gosh. He loses his mind. Doug Plank loses his mind. He's ready to get out there and make the play happen for the kid. My gosh. Or coach and, call a timeout and make it stop. But here's the deal.
Well, yeah. One, defend the pass, the previous play that you just backed off and let them take 13 more yards and to even be in position to throw a damn Hail Mary. And then, yes, take your time. Don't. He didn't take his time out, man. I mean, everything about that whole situation was coaching ignorance. And like I say, that's when I knew. And then they compounded after that. Yeah, horrible.
All right, we're gonna put little tracks up here. He's got his own tag. It's Gamer Kid. He's gonna ask you a question, Ed. He's been dying to get on here. So 1 second, all right?
All right, I see him. My Gamer Kid, what's up?
What's up?
What you got? You got a question for me, your dad said?
Yeah. Which game are you circling on the 2025 schedule?
Green Bay.
Oh, yeah, Green Bay. That's going to be a good
I
one.
I wanted so bad to start this season against Green Bay week 1 in Green Bay. We finished last year with a win in Green Bay, and I wanted to start this year with a win in Green Bay. But we'll take it whenever it is. We're getting a win in Green Bay, and we're gonna take both of them games with Green Bay this year.
I tell you what,
Home and away.
Gamer Kid last year had the same type of season in soccer that the Bears had in football, but this year that team, I hope we are following in their footsteps because those kids are like undefeated, man. But shout out to Gamer Kid. Good job nailing that question for Buck.
Yeah. Best buy him some Dairy Queen. Oh, serendipity.
Serendipity. There you go.
My bad.
Oh, there we go. James Childers says, Gamer Kid, Green Bay is going to go down. And Cliff Victoria says, this is a great prove-it schedule for the Bears. Let's see how good they are.
Yep. That it is.
For sure. So, all right. So here's some questions for the viewers. If you guys can't answer these questions, if you don't have time to answer them right now while we're live, go ahead and circle back after the show's over and leave it in the comments. And as always, thank you guys, everybody, for joining our show. Thank you for your view. We appreciate you. Share this video, hit that like button, and smash that noti bell so you don't miss any of our shows, man. We got over 60 in the building on XApp. We got almost 20 in the building on YouTube and Facebook. Where you at? You got the goose egg, man. Come on, Facebook. I know you're out there. So Cliff also says Ben gets a week to analyze the season after 4 games. Not the worst time to have an early bye. No, I'll tell you what, though, and we'll have a show all in of itself. I'm glad Cliff brought this up before we get into the questions. I was watching another show by Pat Kerwin and Jim Miller. Yes, I know there's other shows besides Moving the Chains, but I do support my co-host and Jim Miller. And one thing that they said was, if you look at last year's trend, every NFL team coming off a bye had a horrible record. Almost, well, I won't say almost all, but a lot of them lost. And we are playing Washington. Now, I know that's a revenge game, but we'll see how much revenge we actually want. How much Caleb wants to pay back Jaden, and how much this team, how much that hurt that we had him right there. And we let him off the hook.
I like how D Nice put it. It's a business trip.
It's a business trip. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into these questions. All right, Bears fan, let's bring you into the show. These are your questions straight from YouTube, man. So here's our questions. Do you think Bagent will still be QB number 2 by mid-season? Yes or no? Question number 2. Will Arlington Heights hurt the Bears' connection with Chicago? Will Arlington Heights hurt the connection with Chicago? So, question number 3. Can Caleb Williams make the leap that Justin Fields never did? Oh, man, that was a rough one. Sorry, guys. Question number 4. If the Bears go 9-8, is that a win for this regime, or did we fall short? So, all right, Buck. Tonight was straight up electric, man. From Bagent's bombs to the stadium stakes. This ain't your granddad's Bears, man. This is a new era, and it starts now. To our viewers, if you felt that fire tonight, man, smoke that like button. Subscribe and share this with every diehard Bear fan that you know. And remember, we're giving away a jersey of your choice once we hit that 3,000 subscribe button, man. This is Bears on Tracks, powered by Chicago Sports Podcast, 5 for Chicago, man. And we ain't stopping until we're in the end zone, baby. Bear down. Is there any pleasantries that you'd like to leave with that? Anything that you want to say?
Go Gamer Kid.
Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. He said, go Gamer Kid. And go Cuzzo. Go Cuzzo. DJ Fry over there.
Cuzzo, what are you hiding back there, Cuzzo? Come on, get up in the screen.
Come on, get up in the screen. They want more Cuzzo.
There they are.
The stars of the show.
Bear down, fellas.
All right. Well, that wraps it up. So go ahead and say goodbye, guys.
Bye. Make sure to subscribe so you can get that jersey of yours.
Oh, nice hook. Nice hook.
Good
All right.
hanging out with you fellas.
All right. All right. Say see you later.
Peace.
See you guys.
This is Shy Sport Tracks, and we out.
Oh.